You're the best there is. The #1 arcade champion. Now your special talents are needed desperately by another galaxy, where the game is about to become reality. Rylos is under attack by the alien forces of Zur and the Kodan Armada. You must repel waves of Zurian fighters, then land and destroy each command ship before it penetrates the frontier and devastates another planet. Experience the excitement of the classic science fiction movie adventure, The Last Starfighter, as you battle your way through 15 explosive levels of non-stop high-speed action. In The Last Starfighter, from Graft Gold and Mindscape, released in 1990. Graft Gold, never heard of them, have we? Well, they've done a few games, mostly for the Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum and Sinclair. A lot of older stuff, Amiga games, Atari ST, that kind of thing. Not a whole lot of games here in North America, mostly in Europe. And if this is anything to go by when it comes to the quality of product they produce, oh boy, I'm sorry, Europe. So, Iridium. Iridium is a sci-fi side-scrolling shoot-'em-up originally designed by Andrew Braybrook for the Commodore 64. Wait a minute. Iridium was later released for the NES in 1990. Mindscape purchased the license and released the game and just basically changed it to fit the story of The Last Starfighter. Rather than programming a new game, Mindscape decided to take an easier route by recycling an older, relatively obscure game. The title screen, sprites, and soundtrack were modified, but the levels and gameplay were identical. In 2003, it was re-released on the C64 Direct-to-TV. In 2008, the Commodore 64 version, or the C64, I guess, was announced as a title on the Wii Virtual Console. In March 2008, Iridium was released for the Virtual Console in Europe, costing 500 Wii points. Here's the plot of the original. The solar system is under attack. Enemy super dreadnoughts have been placed in orbit around each of the 15 planets in this galactic sector. They are draining mineral resources from the planetary cores for use in their interstellar power units. Each dreadnought seeks out a different metal for its metal converter. Your Manta-class space fighter will be transported to each planet in turn, and it is your task to destroy each dreadnought. First, you must attack the defensive screen of enemy fighters. Then you must neutralize the majority of surface defenses before you land on the Super Dreadnought's master runway. Once on board, you must pull as many fuel rods as possible from the metal converters before you take off for a final strafing run as the dreadnought vaporizes into the ether. You know, space is full of ether. So, oh boy, I've never played this game, thank God. It is not a very good game. It is not a very fun game. Contrary to typical side-scrolling or even top-down, this is more of a horizontal-scrolling top-down shooter, right? Think 1943, but turn your TV on its side. That's how it works. But it's not a straight linear level. You can go forward and turn around and come back, which it's kind of different, I suppose. Each dreadnought is a different configuration of walls and other structures, which must be negotiated in order to reach the landing zone. Why? Who can say? The task is hampered by squadrons of enemy fighters that attack the Manta in waves. Lastly, flashing ports on the dreadnought surface release homing mines that cannot be destroyed. It takes a skillful Manta pilot to outfly the mines until they self-detonate. Only when enough of the dreadnought's defenses have been destroyed is the land now signal activated, and the player allowed to slow its speed to a minimum, land on the sternward landing zone. After this, the pilot presumably enters the interior of the mothership and sets its nuclear reactor to self-destruct. Finally, the Manta takes off again as the dreadnought below it crumbles into atoms. You know, I couldn't figure out how to land. I tried a few things, wasn't working. Some of the enemies, maybe it's like a timer thing. It just seemed like they were impossible to avoid. They come at you so fast, and from different sides of the screen. It's tough. It's really tough. It's hard to know what's going on and what you can do about it. And graphically, it's not very impressive.